Thank you. I think we need to go on. We're so pleased to have Blessing here. She is a trafficking survivor and an anti-trafficking activist now, so we would love to hear what you have to tell us.
Thank you very much. My name is Blessing Okoedion. I'm from Nigeria. I live in Italy. First of all, I want to thank those that organized this event to combat human trafficking in all countries, especially in Africa. I'm very, very happy to be here and also to share my story with the judges that are here. Because at times, many of the victims are always afraid to involve law enforcement agents because they think that they won't be given justice. At times, many of the victims are very ignorant about the possibility of the restitution of their dignity that was stolen from them. I have been a victim. I am a survivor with full consciousness, with full awareness of being a survivor and also being once a victim. And I know what many women are passing through on the streets. I am from Nigeria. Basically, we cannot say that Nigeria is a poor country. Nigeria is a rich country because we have a lot of natural resources that can make the citizens of Nigeria to live a dignified life. But it's very unfortunate that these resources are poorly managed by the government. And this leaves in citizens to be vulnerable to human traffickers. At times, many people, when they speak about it, when they interview the girls, they keep on asking the girl, don't you want to tell us that you don't know about it before? Then most of the girls would respond, yes, I know about it, but I never thought of being a victim, being victimized by who? By the person that trafficked me. But we have to know about the social context, the social situation of Nigerian children, of Nigerian citizens, especially because most of the girls that are trafficked to Europe, 90%, if not more than, come from the rural areas. And these are zones that are abandoned by the governments, where there is no school or poor educational system, dilapidated structures, no potable waters, and the only hope of these people in the rural area become traffickers. Because it is the traffickers that create borehole, potable waters for them. Most of them buy computers in most of the available dilapidated schools in the rural areas. And afterwards, they will take many, many young people out of the community to be exploited in other African countries and in other European countries. I can remember when I came to Italy in 2013. And today, when somebody asks me, why are you in Italy? It's very difficult for me to give response because my response will be very complicated because I won't know what to tell the person because it's going to take time before I explain. But the reason that made me to leave Nigeria was because of job. I can remember when I was offered this opportunity to come to Europe to work by a Christian woman, because after my NYC, my National Youth Service, I went to Benin. I went to learn how to repair computer, being a graduate of computer science. After I learned it, then I opened my own shop where I repair computers and sell other computer accessories and other products. This was when I met this woman, a Christian woman, who introduced me to other clients, to many clients. She became a friend. She became a mother figure. She was so nice. Because we Nigerians, we are very religious, and we easily trust people. She was like a mother figure for me because my parents does not live in Benin. After some years, she told me about the brother that lives in Europe, that has a shop in Europe, the same shop that I was running in Benin. And the brother needed a sales representative. Then she told me how much I would be paid monthly. Then I thought about it. I compared it with my annual stipend, with my annual earnings. I discovered that it was more. I discussed it with my parents. Then I accepted. It's not that I do not know about the existence of human trafficking, because when you talk about Benin, in other words, we say it's synonymous to human trafficking. Because when you're talking about human trafficking in Nigeria, the first sitting you will mention, the first ethnic group you will mention, you will relate it to it's the ethnic group of Benin. But the way I was being trafficked was very, very different from the normal process. Then this woman, I went for interview in Lagos. I can remember they asked me to do another program on networking. We started processing documents. It was not just something of 6 months. It was more than 6 months. Then one day, this woman called me and congratulated me that my visa was out. I was very, very happy. I was 26 years old. Because of the Nigerian mentality that I was having then, and we still exist today for many Nigerians. Because when you know somebody, an influential person, it's phenomenon to open doors. It's equal to open doors. You are denied of your fundamental human rights, but you do not know whether your right exists. Because when you know a influential person, you get admission to the university, you get jobs, when you know people that are in the high position in the society. Then everything that is not normal becomes normal in the society because of this mentality, and which denies so many people of their fundamental human rights. Then I never questioned myself why at my age, 26 years, I was not called upon to come for my visa, to come and collect my visa. Why would it be this woman? Because I grew up with that mentality that everything works for people that know people that are influential. Then that was how I embarked on my journey to Europe. Arriving in Europe, in Spain, this woman called me from Nigeria and told me that the brother wanted me in Italy. But I never doubted. It's not that Italy is a very good name in Nigeria, no, because I can remember those girls in Nigeria that do not want to study that time. We called them Italo. I can remember very well. But I never doubted this woman because I trusted her. We had a very solid friendship. And she was a Christian. I never doubted her. Then when I arrived in Italy, the first thing they did to me was to collect all my original documents. That was the first thing they did. But I never questioned them. Then they told me to sit down. I sat down. The same day, they told me that I was indebted with the sum of 65,000 euros. That was when it dawned on me. That was when I understood that I have fallen into the hands of traffickers. And many questions were flowing on my head on how to get my freedom, on what to do, on who to tell, finding myself in a country that was different from my country, a language different from my language. I was thinking on who to go to for help. The door was locked. I was frightened. I was afraid. I was ashamed to have fallen a victim. Then they told me that I was going to start that very job that same day. I could remember that the woman took me to a shop, a boutique, to get me some clothes. Then, there she was the one that chose all the clothes for me. I was 26 years old. I could not, and I was not even permitted to choose anything. She decided. I became a robot. I became a product on sale. And these women conducted me into the streets. On the street, I met so many Nigerian girls. I was so angry, bitter, and afraid. Thanks to those Nigerian girls that I met on the streets. Because in the space of 3 hours, they narrated all their stories. They were very welcoming. They shared all their fears. They were sharing tears. Those that were angry. Don't you people know that there is no work in Europe? She was shouting. I could see somebody that would have loved to tell the world that she is a victim, but she had her mouth closed and her hand chained. I was angry. They were sharing tears for themselves and for me. And they told me, it's an open door without exit. Because it's very, very dangerous. Your innocent family are also victims now. Because when you run, they may be estimated. I was frightened. I was afraid on who to go to, what to do. They told me, they shared their story on how they were made to take an oath before their departure from Nigeria. They shared their story to me. They told me, oh, if you hadn't taken any oath, they will make you to take an oath here in Europe because there are many native daughters in that particular community in Italy that is called Castelvolturno that practice all these things. Because many girls were brought here, and they made them to swear to take an oath. Then I thought of what to do. How can I tell my parents that I'm not on the streets, that I have fallen into the hands of trafficker? How can I tell my friend? They will say, Blessing, you can't say you don't know. Who will I tell? Who will believe me? These become my fears. Then I made up my mind to go and report to the police. I was angry, seeing many girls that had been stolen, with their dream destroyed. There were some that wanted to become nurses. There were some that were already in the school of nurses. There were some that were already working in the hospitals that were deceived, that went to London. From London, they brought them to Italy, that were deceived. But they will always take pictures in a workplace, in the hospitals, in the boutique, in the saloon, and this is what they put on Facebook. And this is the picture that most of them send to their families. They advised me like this: Blessing, do not report because you may die. Because these people are dangerous. Just hold on, just be patient. You will get used to it. It was like this with us when we came. How can I be used to the life of slavery with full consciousness and full awareness? Then I made up my mind to go and report to the police. But the problem was I was very new in that place. I do not speak Italian language, and I do not know the police station. Then who was I to ask? Because I discovered, according to the narrations of the girls, that the place is a place where criminality has become normality. It has been normalized. They will tell you, you will get used to it. We are talking of a place where people are forced into drug pushing, where many girls, women are used, young children are used for drug, for prostitution. Criminality is the order of the day in Castelvolturno. Then I thank God Almighty who conducted me to the police station, because I thank God because I never know anywhere. It was God. Then arriving there, the police didn't attend to me well. Then I came out. I met a Nigerian boy. I couldn't help myself. I narrated my story to him. He advised me to go back to my trafficker because they are very, very dangerous, that I would soon get used to it. And I would soon pay my debt and get out of their trap. Then I cried to him. I told him I want to go back to Nigeria. I do not even want to be associated with this phenomenon of human trafficking. I do not want to be associated with this phenomenon of being a victim. I just want to just silently go back to Nigeria and continue my life that I was living in Nigeria. Then he followed me. While he was speaking with a policeman, because he speaks Italian language, the door was opened and then I entered. That was when I made a report. Police took me to one shelter in Caseta, where I met other Nigerian women that were having similar story. Then this thing for me. It made me to be very angry, because many, many years, it's more than 30 years, that Nigerian women has been daily trafficked to Europe to be exploited sexually. And our fear is we are afraid because we think that nobody will believe our story. Number two, we are afraid of being stigmatized. Number three, we are afraid because we think that if the Italian government, European government grant us protection, who will protect our family? That is where the laws enforcement agents in Nigeria have major role to play that they are neglecting and that they are ignorant of. In 2016, I went to Nigeria for sensitization on human trafficking. I saw a policeman arresting a woman because she reported her trafficker to the police. Then the trafficker family went to the police station and they reported the woman. The police accompanied them to go and arrest this woman. And they were even beating her. Then this is, when I saw that, and many other girls that go back and they fell victim again, then I begin to ask myself, this is the fear of many Nigerian women that are in Italy, because they get social protection in Italy, but their parents, nobody protects them back home, and when they go back to Nigeria, nobody protects them. Because many of them will want to go back to Nigeria, but at times, many of them lose their life going back to Nigeria because there is no protection. Yes, Nigeria, yes, there is NAPTIP that was instituted in 2003. But the problem is, are they really equipped by the government to carry out their function? This is one of the problems, because the government is lacking in this social protection and justice for victims. Yet there is a lot of association in Nigeria that combat human trafficking, but how effective it is. This is one of the things that make many girls to be afraid. Haven't shared my story, and through this book, I discovered that I keep on receiving calls from Canada, from UK, from Denmark, from different countries about Nigerian women who called me to share their stories. Because many of them left Nigeria to Canada, you would think that they are living a better life over there. But there they are doing indoor prostitution because they need to pay their trafficker. In UK, many of them, in London, in United Kingdom, many of them are doing indoor prostitution. They can do it for a year, pay their trafficker, then they will be released to go and search for a job. But many of them share this story. Then it's our time. We need to speak out. It's our time we put aside shame. It's our time we put aside stigmatization. It's our time we put aside whether people will believe us or not and help our generation. Because if we refuse to put our face, if we refuse to act, if we refuse to stand, it will continue to generation. And because of this, I empower so many women, encourage so many women to speak out, because I discovered that when you go to the street to tell the women your story, I was once on the street like you, and I reported my trafficker to the police. You see how powerful it is. They keep on asking you questions. Before you know what is happening, they will go and make reports. Call you, please, can you help me? I want to also be free like you.
Thank you. Thank you. So that was so inspiring. Thank you so much.